Welcome to episode 2 of That Sweet Spot, season 2, stories about a rookie teacher in China. I'm Peter Flynn, and I'm here with my epic producer, Phil.
Oh wow, that was nice.
Season 2 is all about teaching. We have a question. What's the most important tool for a teacher's first class? Phil, any ideas?
Is this like a corporal punishment question?
Tempting. Yeah. There are some interesting tools you can use there. Gone are the days, I'm afraid.
Ah, shucks.
Nah, it's one of these. It's a piece of paper. What you do is you go in there, you fold it, and you write your name on it. Here's one I prepared earlier. I've always wanted to say that. And you do that, and most importantly, you get all the students in the class to do the same thing and to fold it in such a way that it props up in front of them. And you can play with that. You can also get them to do pictures and all kinds of stuff. It's a great little tool. And it also shows each student that you're focused on them, which is very, very important. Let's see if I can say important some more times anyway as we go along. Back to China. The first lessons, Thursday, March the 10th, 1996. I woke up at 6:30 and followed a careful schedule, well aware I'd be on display. The routine of shower, shave, iron shirt, put in contact lenses, iron shirt again, didn't distract me from the fear of attending a foreign school for the first time. I climbed to the 5th floor of the school building with needles in my guts. But to my relief, I was to observe lessons given by T, a Chinese-Canadian teacher who was here to give back to his motherland. T was a neat, cheerful man, 10 years my senior, an experienced teacher. Over the course of my year, I was indebted to him for his support and guidance. There were 6 classes. I wondered how they managed to cram almost 60 children into each room. There was a huge blackboard and slogans lining the walls. Study diligently, improve rapidly, and progress comes from hard work. For the last observation of the day, I was getting droopy. It was evening. I ran my finger down a green wall, picking up a layer of black. This was where I'd be teaching English for a whole year. Suddenly, T introduced me to the class, mumbled, "Take over," and walked out. 114 eyes turned to me. I'd never taught before, and now I was being thrown in at the deep end. Phil, has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been thrown into the deep end like this?
You mean aside from right now?
Aside from right now, aside from cakes in France.
Well, yeah, I mentioned that cake story the last time, which is it reminds me of that exact same situation. That would be basically the same thing. But I mean, I think it's I've had jobs where you have someone you're put in a position where it's just a little bit too high for your capabilities.
Yeah.
And I know that I was in a hotel one day, and my job, I'd never been asked directions before, and I was asked directions this time, and I remember the person calling back the hotel maybe 5 minutes later saying, that guy who gave me the directions, I don't think he knew what he was doing. And they were right. I listened back to what I had told them, and I put them on a really bad route, but they ended up finding some things that they otherwise wouldn't have discovered. So
you enriched their day.
That's the way I look back at it.
Yeah. Well, I reckon it's probably fairly common that people get dropped in it by a colleague. So, anyone out there got a story? Bang it into the comments. It's great. Back to China, back to the classroom. 114 eyes were staring at me. I walked numbly to the front, head bowed. Now I had to use my initiative. What were they thinking about now as they were watching me? I reached the teacher's podium. I was just about to speak when a plump girl with a squint handed me a note. It read, "Are you in England a teacher, a worker, or a peasant?" The girl stood watching me with an innocent expression. I wrote down, "None of your business," and gave it back. The girl sat back down with a loud sigh, showing the paper to her neighbor. I coughed. T still wasn't back. I had to do something. My name is Mr. Flynn. I came 5,000 miles to teach you. Now write down your names. They'd already done it. I went around the classroom, studying the little cards on the desks. Most of the girls had prosaic names like Alice and Wendy and Anne, but the boys had obviously been raiding the who's who. To the right of the classroom, a big lad with a wonderful smile called himself Einstein, while a thin boy in the middle proudly held up a scrap of paper with Eisenhower on it. But the best was a boy right at the back with sleepy eyes and a great fuzz of black hair. His name tag read, Karl Marx Bismarck Schopenhauer III. Awesome name. Doesn't get much better than that. And of course, being a professional, I burst out laughing, thinking it was a joke. Karl Marx Bismarck Schopenhauer III scowled at me. The class went silent and I realized it was all deadly serious. Meanwhile, I extended some of the other boys' names, making William Shakespeare, and Geoffrey Chaucer. And when the plump girl squealed for a new name, I wrote down, "You are now Mae West," on a piece of paper. I wonder if there's any other funny names out there that we can come back with. I remember from my school days that there were kids with crazy names. Can you remember any? Was there one that you could remember, Phil?
There was one kid with the name Elvis who showed up one day.
Did I have an Elvis in China? I wonder.
The teachers wouldn't believe that was his name, and they got his mother on the phone, and she tore them a new one. Says, that's his name. What's wrong with the name Elvis?
Oh, that's beautiful. All right, go for it. I'll go for it. Meanwhile, I remembered a sheet of paper I had in my pocket. They had already been singing Edelweiss. Or is it Edelweiss?
Edelweiss, yeah.
They had already been singing Edelweiss with T, and now I wanted to show them a British song. I'd copied out Jerusalem in the crazy hope of teaching it as a poem, but now I only had one copy. Remembering my school days, I stood at the front and sang it in a surprisingly calm voice. Once I'd reached dark satanic mills, T came back in, and I relaxed. After I'd finished, the class clapped politely, and I ended the lesson by telling them to stand up and say, "Goodbye, Mr. Flynn." "Louder," I said. "Goodbye, Mr. Flynn." Afterwards, they came up and crowded round me with little scraps of paper, asking for new names, and soon I had Isaac Newton, Fay Wray, Galileo, Marilyn Monroe, and James Thurber walking out the class, all chattering delightedly. Friday, March the 11th. T suggested I make an introduction to Class 2 students today, gathering all the English postcards I could find and stuffing tapes of Madame Butterfly, Jelly Roll Morton, Nirvana, and some marching music into my bag. I went up to Class 8-2 after breakfast. 57 students were wedged behind their desks in thick winter coats, hiding behind piles of books, watching me suspiciously. T led me up to the stage at the front, warmed them up by singing Edelweiss, called out my name, and had the kids clap me. One boy was chattering as I came to the front. "Winston, be quiet." Winston Churchill, shut up. "These are the rules," I said. 1, I talk, you listen. 2, you talk, I listen. 3, you talk in English. Anyone speaking Chinese, I punish. Understand? Now, as you know, I came from a long way away, 5,000 miles away. Incidentally, Phil, this is a really, really good tip. If you're starting out teaching, laying out the rules, and you don't sometimes with some classes you don't actually need to lay out the rules. You can get suggestions as to what the rules should be. I think this is also, it makes a lot of students feel secure
Okay,
that,
okay.
that you're in control and you're in command. I mean, I don't expect you've ever been in any jobs or positions whereby you had to lay out rules like that, or
I used to teach sales, so yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. And it was actually a bit of a challenge because I'm speaking to a group of people who are seasoned salespeople. And many of them are in their 50s or 60s years old, 50s or 60s. And I would have been in my 20s at this time. And I had to tell them that what you've been doing for 40 years is all wrong and you need to do it this way,
wow.
right?
That's a challenge.
But you kind of have to use reverse psychology, and you have to say, I would put the 40 and 50 and 60-year-olds off to the side and was like, listen, this isn't for you guys. You guys know what you're doing, but can you do me a favor and just kind of nod along and ask a few useful questions as we go? And I'm not here to teach you anything. And in the end, I think those are the people who learn the most because they weren't defensive. They were there to help me out, right? But then as they were speaking, they'd ask me questions like, so you think that we shouldn't be doing this? And I'd say, why? And they'd say, oh, wow, I'm going to try that. And I had a lot of good feedback from them saying, that really worked what you taught me.
Sounds like you gauged the class pretty well. Or
I don't know. You learn very quickly when you're thrown into it's like a baptism by fire when I first started in sales. And it's kind of like, I guess that should have been my answer to your first question. Have you ever been thrown into something where you're over your head?
Well, one
much
thing
was.
I could have mentioned, I'm not going to go into detail, but at one point during my teacher training, when I was set on a class of retired headmasters.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. Teaching Keats to a class of retired headmasters.
Okay. John Keats. Yeah.
Yep, John Keats. Yeah,
Okay.
teaching the poetry. That was quite something.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that was a real deep end experience, but that didn't happen in China anyway.
No.
But maybe later I can go into that again. Anyway, we're gonna back to China. Here I was in front of the class, handing out realia, which is what they call it in the biz. I started handing out postcards to the students, beginning with shots of London many of them hadn't seen. When I held up a picture of Harrods, the girls all gave a little moan and leaned forward to get a good look. And here's a girl who really loves shopping here, I went on, holding up a postcard of Princess Diana. Elizabeth, a girl murmured on the front row. No, she's a princess, and here's where she lives. I held up a shot of Buckingham Palace, and the whole class went, wow. It's one of my favorite sounds in the world, when a whole class goes, wow. It's fantastic. I held up a picture of some guards. And who are these men standing outside the palace? This was where the marching music came in useful. I picked up a broomstick and began marching up and down in between the desks, making the children laugh and shout. It also kept me warm, as there was no heating in this school. I ended the introduction with the words opera, jazz and rock on the board, playing the Madame Butterfly, Jelly Roll Morton and the song Smells Like Teen Spirit, just to show them the variety of Western culture. So what did they think? I taught them the words good, wonderful and awful and encouraged them to evaluate, to criticize, to think for themselves. That's episode 2. Like it, loathe it, love it. We'd love to hear from you. That sounds good.
Where's my name tag?
Oh, you need a name tag. I should have given you a name tag.
It's okay. It's all right.
You're right.
It's
I
all
missed a trick on that one.
It's all right. It's all right.
I didn't think of that. I was to observe lessons given by T, a Chinese-Canadian teacher who is here to give back to his motherland. I have to say that again just because that last word. Okay.
I was supposed to be motherfucker, not motherland.
It should have been. You don't say motherland.
Do you want me to get Samuel L. Jackson in here?
Motherland. Yeah, I need to get some help from Sam. Yeah.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.